We've got Adam today. He's a student at UCLan Dental School. He's just gotten through his first year at UCLan Dental School, and today he's going to be telling us about what it's like as a first year at UCLan Dental School and what people can expect from the first year of UCLan Dental School. So Adam, thank you for being on this video. Thank you for taking your time to share your experience with others.
Thank you for inviting me on this, Arnold. Thank you for letting me talk about my experience. So currently, I've just finished my first year. I've just completed my exams last Friday, even received a few successful results. Yeah. And just finished second BDS, going to start third BDS, where I can actually start going to the dental education centres, start actually seeing patients. And it's a good feeling at the moment, just doing what I've always wanted to do, something that I've always worked hard on.
So you said second BDS. Why didn't you start at one BDS?
So you can actually have a postgraduate entry course. So what they have is a 4-year program rather than a 5-year program, which is in normal undergraduate courses. So rather than starting from the first BDS, you start from second BDS. And that, in your previous degree, would have covered everything that a normal dental school would have done in the first BDS. Then in the second BDS, you start covering everything dental related. So a normal undergraduate university, as far as I'm aware, probably wouldn't have as much clinical experience. They wouldn't be in the phantom headroom, they wouldn't be drilling, filling as much in the first year. However, in our first year, in second BDS, we do a lot more of that. In fact, during the end of first year, starting third BDS, we do start seeing some patients. So it's a lot of clinical work involved when you're in graduate entry.
Okay, so you've given us a lot there. So let's just rewind that back to your experience leading up to your first week at dental school. So did you need to prepare anything? I know sometimes people start to stress about, should I be reading books? Should I be learning stuff before I start the course? Just tell us about your lead up to
Personally, I was so excited to start. I probably didn't think of actually getting ready or reading around the topic. I was just so excited to be in the dental environment, going to the dental lecture, meeting the lecturers, meeting the other classmates. So yeah, my preparation, I probably didn't do as much as I should have. But if I was to tell my past self, I probably would tell him to start covering some tooth morphology or some anatomy. But the only preparation they told us to do was to collect teeth. So we had collected. So they told us to just approach dentists or dental practices, ask them if we could take some of their teeth which they'd extracted and place them into some disinfectant like Dettol, and that would help us when we're actually in the practical setting, when we're practicing on teeth. So that's what we would practice on.
Wow. Okay, so you were actually given the task of collecting extracted teeth, so real human teeth. Collect them in a bottle, and then you'd start using those at dental school. Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, so your first few days and weeks, what was it like meeting everybody else on the course and the staff?
Oh yes, I mean, yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. In fact, the moment
how many of you are there?
Oh, it's a very small cohort. I forgot to mention that, very small. It's only 30 of us. So there's 30 BDS students, 30 dental students. There's around 15 dental therapy students in the class and around 10 dental technicians. So it's a range of different students in the class. It's not just the BDS students. It's all three different types of students. And Initially, we do learn similar modules. So we have the anatomy module where we learn similar things, and yeah, everything is fairly similar in the second BDS, so in the first year. So yeah, my first day, I was really nervous, even though I'd done my biomedical science at UCLan. I'd gone into the dental building, the Allen building, a number of times just to familiarize myself with it. But still, the first time I walked in, I felt like a stranger. I was so nervous, just seeing everyone and seeing the lecturer, and yeah. But I think one of my highlights of my first day was when I walked in. There was another boy called Mahdi. He walked in as well, and he came and sat next to me, and he ended up being my best friend for the full year, and probably even full 4 years. So yeah, that was definitely the highlight of the first day. Actually meeting everyone, meeting who could be my best friend, and yeah, it was amazing.
So what's interesting about UCLan is it's graduate entry and people have previous degrees. Tell us about some of the degrees and professions. What have people done that you were with?
Well, yeah, people come from different backgrounds. There's people who have come from pharmacists, pharmacy backgrounds, medical backgrounds. There are also people who have come from dental therapy backgrounds. So they've actually had interactions with patients. They've had a feel of the dental equipment. They have a lot of dental knowledge. There's a third kind of students who are like me, who have come from biomedical science backgrounds, and we have neither. We have no dental knowledge. We have no dental hands-on experience. So yeah, it's very difficult for us. But the good thing about that is when we're actually in the practical setting, in the phantom headrooms, generally placed next to someone who's a therapist, someone who's had previous dental experience.
Really?
And yeah, so the good thing about that is when you're next to them, when you're struggling with something practically, then you could always ask them. I know that was one of the advantages for me. That if I struggled in the second week, we got into the phantom headroom, which was the practical room, and we started using the handpieces, and yeah, I was terrible. I was terrible the moment I started.
We all were.
Yeah. I mean, I actually the tooth which I practiced on the first day, I actually kept it till now. So whenever I'm struggling with motivation, or I'm disappointed, I have a look at that and I just see how far I've come since the very first day.
Yeah.
So yeah. Saying yes, it's very good the way that they have us arranged in the seating positions. We're actually arranged in desks.
That's quite interesting in that. So are these second year therapy students or first year therapy students? Because you're saying you get help you can ask them for help. Are they first year, second year? What stage are they at?
Well, they're actually qualified therapists. So the qualified therapists who come onto the BDS course. Yeah. So the qualified therapists, they've done all their qualifications in dental therapy. They've seen patients in the past, and the different activities which we do in the first year, they've already done in the previous 3 years in their previous course. Yeah. So yeah, they're very good at that. They've passed all their exams. They've got the qualification. So they're probably, after the lecturer, they're probably the second people that we could possibly go to see how we're doing with our work. Yeah. When I was starting off, the work which I was producing, it was very questionable. It made me question if dentistry was really for me. But yeah, speaking to them, the motivation that they gave me, telling me that they were definitely at the same place, they're at the same position. I mean, I looked at their work and they were producing this amazing, class 2 MOD cavity, and then I was looking at mine and there was like a big crater onto. It definitely demotivates you. But then when you speak to them and they tell you that everyone starts in this position, and the motivation which they give you, which lecturers possibly couldn't give you, it's very good in that aspect at UCLan.
So what was it like with the lectures and the learning material? Just give us a flavor of what you were learning.
So in the first semester we have a number of different modules. You have your anatomy module, which is incredible. You learn all about the head and neck. It's very interesting to learn because especially for me, being exposed to new content, exactly what you're made of, the muscles which you have, the nerves which go through the foramen, the bones which are connected to other bones. It's just very interesting. And the activities which are held in the anatomy module. So in the first week, we actually did face painting. So it was amazing, to actually do something exciting, do something.
Face painting, what? Like a party type of, what were you painting on your faces?
Oh no, we were actually painting the muscles on the face.
Okay.
So the muscles that you have, or the bones that you have, we were painting that. So the person that me and my friend were face painting, half of the face we painted as muscles, the half we painted as bones.
Yeah.
So it was more just an activity just to see like the different muscles and the bones and the foramens which are actually on the face.
Yeah.
It was more like an eye opener, like a taste today. That was very good. And even in the anatomy module, we had a day which we went to the Liverpool University and saw cadavers.
All right. They're still doing that.
Yeah, they're still doing that at Liverpool University. Yeah, that was amazing. It's just incredible to actually see what we've been learning about, on the actual humans. I mean, some people, they were very emotional when they saw the cadavers, because, that was another person, another human being living that life. If you saw it on more like an educational way, then yeah, there was a lot to learn in that aspect. Yeah, it was very good. I mean,
a lot of people might think, are you just not learning teeth? Why are you going to university for 4 years to learn teeth? I mean, from what you're saying, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more to it than teeth. I mean, the reason we learn anatomy, as we got told further on, was, I mean, with the different nerves that you're anesthetizing with the LA, and it's not just to do with teeth, it's to do with the nerves, it's to do with the bones, to do with the muscles, and yeah, it's just everything. It's all about the head and neck. Everything we learn in dentistry is the head and neck, and yes, it's definitely not just to do with the teeth.
So tell us about any other modules or any other topics you learned.
Yeah, so the different other modules that we had was the foundation clinical knowledge and the foundation clinical skills module. So every Tuesdays and Thursdays, for the first hour, 9 till 10, we had a foundation clinical knowledge module. So then that's when we were introduced to new concepts in dental materials, different cavity preparations, different classifications of the cavities, and yeah, it was all to do with the content and the knowledge to do with dentistry. And then throughout the day, from 10 till 4, we were in the Phantom Headroom. Now in the Phantom Headroom, it's where we used to have our practical, it was all to do with practicals. So we had our dental unit, and on the dental unit we had our dental handpiece, we had the aspirator, and everything that you'd find in a dental practice. And the knowledge which we'd learn in the first hour, we'd actually be practicing that throughout the full day. So yeah, that was very interesting. That was very good. I mean, the content, it was very difficult to learn, just to regurgitate everything. But throughout the day, when you're actually doing the practical, yes, it's very interesting. It was amazing.
What would you say the split is between working on the Phantom Headrooms and working on your practical skills, and lectures where you're learning theory? What's that split like?
In the first year, I feel like it's more practical based. So Mondays, we had a module called prosthetics. So it was to do with dentistry. I actually kept a few things I could show. So this was
right.
This was a denture that I made in the prosthetics module. So we were required to make this, and it actually showed us the different processes which allow you to make this. And in a dental setting, the main things which you do are your impressions, your registration bags, and your special tray impressions. Those are the main things that you do in a dental setting. But then behind the scenes in a dental lab, the way that a denture is made and everything, that's what we were introduced to. So yeah, that was very interesting. The hard work that goes into it, the intricate detail that needs to be that's put into it as well.
Let's see the dentures again.
Yeah.
All right. So it's interesting. Do you see dentistry in a different way to when you were doing your work experience before dental school. Do you perceive it differently?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, things that we're introduced to, like in terms of prosthetics, I do remember seeing a lot of denture patients when I was doing the work experience. Yeah, it was just amazing to see the different side of it. It's not all just drilling and filling and the root canals. It's a different side of actually allowing a person to giving function of speaking, eating to a person. Yes.
Yeah.
It was just great to.
And you appreciate the challenges more of actually making the devices.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was just exciting, the full day of prosthetics on a Monday. It was something that you'd actually look forward to, through the
Yeah.
weekend. With I'm not sure if you had the same lecturer, Mr. Brooks. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was very entertaining in the way that he came about it. The full day it was amazing. The things we learned, the whole process that goes behind it. It's incredible. It's amazing. If there's one module that I could redo just for the full year, definitely be prosthetics.
Budding prosthodontist over here. So,
Prosthodontics, yeah.
What would you say about the examinations and tests, assignments? How are you examined and tested during the year?
So the examinations were examined all the way through the year. So the second BDS is supposed to be one of the most challenging in terms of the exams and the different activities which you're given. So for the prosthetics module, were things which we were introduced to were the special trays and the registration blocks. Those are the two things which you had to make in one of the assessments. So I've actually got a registration block here.
So this is in the process of making a denture.
The denture, yeah. So one of the things that a dentist would have to do is, in terms of the registration block, is record the relationship of the maxilla, the mandible, and see how the teeth are in contact together. So this is one of the things which a dentist would need to use. So yeah, in the docs, we had to actually make the registration block and make it to an efficient standard, to a standard which you'd actually test on a patient. So yeah, that was very interesting to actually experience.
So, do they do that with the different treatments that you provide as a dentist? So do you get tested like that for different?
Yeah. So you get tested like that. So in the foundation clinical skills module, in February, so around 5 months after you'd started, you were examined on a MOD class 2 cavity. So that is one of the examinations which you had to do. Now, because there was a number of different people in the class, such as the therapist, who also had past experience, the people who had just started, there were no competition to them. You're actually ranked in the order after you'd sat the exam. Once you got the results, you're ranked in order of the class. So when I sat the exam, I thought that I had no chance. I've definitely come to the bottom half. But yes, I was lucky enough to actually come into the first top 3
Wow.
of doing the foundation clinical skills MOD cavity, the class 2 cavity. So yeah, I was very impressed.
You can do my fillings then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's part of the way you're assessed. So you have these mini assessments in the phantom head where your clinical skills are tested. How else are you tested?
So yeah, mostly most of the exams are done as multiple choice questions, small answer questions, and they're all done on a program called Maxinity. So on the Maxinity, you're given multiple choice questions. With the small answer questions, you type in the questions on the computer, and majority of the modules have written based and also practical based exams as well. So yeah, it's definitely a mix of both. You also have some presentations which you do through the year, some formative presentations, and they're more targeted towards professionalism. So you're given case studies, different cases in terms of professionalism, the different things that you do, the different GDC laws that it could be breaking, and the laws which you need to abide by, and it just allows you to explore like deeper thinking and just do further research on topics which are required, which dentists are required to know about.
And what would you say are some of the benefits of studying dentistry at UCLan?
I think some of the benefits is definitely a smaller cohort. So there's more dental lecturers to dental students. That's definitely one of the main benefits which we're told about before we start. Now the benefit of this is because of the smaller class, the lecturers can actually target a particular student's weak point. So if a student is finding something difficult, then a lecturer is able to point that out. They're targeted very easily. Now, one of the second thing which I definitely played to my advantage are the different types of students in the class. So the different therapists, the different pharmacists, different medics. So any particular area which I was lacking knowledge in, I could always approach them and ask them. I could always use them to fill the gaps in my knowledge. That was definitely one of the things. And also the students are a lot more mature. There are also a lot older students as well who have had a number of different experiences in the past. It's great just to learn off them. It's great just to listen to them talk. And I'm actually the youngest in the class, and the people who are older, so much wiser, so much knowledgeable. It's amazing in terms of the post course with the different people that you just come across.
Yeah, and what would you say? What are some difficulties or challenges that you might face? What's hard about studying dentistry, and in particular at UCLan?
For UCLan, it's one of the things which is very difficult is definitely time management. So because the first BDS and the second BDS is joined into one, the whole week you're occupied in the lectures or practicals. It's a full 9 to 5 Monday to Friday timetable. So in terms of time management, it's very difficult. So the lectures that are provided through the week, it's very important that you stay on top of it. You do the work as you receive it. It's very important that you stay on top of it. What some people do is, they leave everything to the last minute. They don't pay attention to the work when it's given. So, that's one thing which I definitely advise other people to do in terms of their time management. So I was fortunate enough to have made a timetable when I was doing my biomedical science degree, to have had the time management then. So I use that knowledge. I use my knowledge from there into dentistry. I was able to do the same in both, which was an advantage to me.
Awesome. Any final things that you'd say about your experience of UCLan Dental School? Maybe what you've got coming up in terms of year two, and just an overall summary of how you found it.
I mean, in terms of advice that I'd give is, the students who are applying, they've worked so hard for the applications, worked so hard to pass the interviews, to get the grades, but it's only the beginning. You've got to work just as hard once you start. You've got to pay attention, stay focused through the year, try and be self-motivated. That's the most important thing, because it's very hard to stay motivated if there's a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday week, and to stay on top of the work that you're given. So self-motivation is definitely key, to stay on top of your work and everything. And also to ask questions. That's one thing which I probably didn't do enough. If I'm struggling with something, asking questions, making sure that if you're struggling with something, then ask the people around you, because most likely the people around you, either they don't understand it because of how it's been taught, or they understand it very well, so that you can use their knowledge that they have to expand on your own. Those are the two from my past experience that I would definitely say.
And what would you say in terms of things to look forward to in the upcoming years?
Things to look forward to. It's the thing that I'm definitely looking forward to is definitely the patient contact. So hopefully, fingers crossed, from September, we'll have the patient contact. And one thing which we didn't do was doing the local anesthetic on each other. So after we learned about the local anesthetic, we had the whole day of learning about the different doses and the different anesthetics. We were supposed to anesthetize each other when we went for the deck visit, because we have deck visit every few months. And because of lockdown, we actually didn't get to do that. So September is definitely something that I'm looking forward to, actually doing it on anesthetizing the student and getting it done to me as well. Definitely something which I'm looking forward to.
Awesome, awesome. And I just want to say again, thank you for coming on to this and really sharing your experience of getting into dentistry. And that's in the first video. And in this video, you sharing what it's like to be a first-year dental student at the University of Central Lancashire. So thank you for that. And I'm sure we're gonna continue to talk and keep connected and find out what you're doing after graduation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm hoping to do this this little interview every year. I can give you like an overview of what I've done for the full 4 years. No, thank you for inviting me on this as well. I really hope that the students that watch this really benefit from what I've told them. Little tips and tricks which could help them. If they're at UCLan or any other dental school, and if they are struggling with the interview process, then definitely get in touch with you. Then get in touch you and Dental Mentor UK, because I know that's definitely what helped me actually achieve an interview from UCLan.
Awesome. Now, thank you for that. And we'll catch you later, guys. Make sure to subscribe.